Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigerverse. It is Niger here once again, and I got another tier list for you guys. So, right off the bat, this one's going to be a lengthy one. This one is going to be very, very lengthy. We are looking at every single solitary Spyro the Dragon level from the original Spyro trilogy. Yes, all of them. Home worlds, levels proper, bonus levels, boss levels, all of it we are looking at here in this tier list. So I'll strap in. We're gonna be here for a little bit. So we got our levels here, and then as we go down, we got our tiers here. So our tiers, top tier is Flames, and so it's like really really solid level, really really fun level, really good stuff. We have A tier, which means not the best of the best, but it's still really, really good. B tier is kind of the middle ground, not great, not horrible, but good for the most part. It's okay. C tier is like, one or two things keeping it from the bottom of the barrel. And the bottom of the barrel is head back to the portal. Don't play this level. We'll just head back to the level. But the way we're gonna grade these is gonna be a bit. It's gonna be a bit interesting. And there's a few things when it comes to levels. When it comes to these levels, that we have to keep in mind. We're gonna keep in mind how the level looks, how it feels to traverse around the level and everything. And obviously, and that's not too indicative of Spyro's like base moveset, because Spyro's base moveset doesn't really change that much. But so how it feels to play around the level. We're gonna take into account like the music and some of the stuff that you can do in this level. But we also have to take into account the game, because in the case of these games where it's Spyro 1, they didn't really have like mini games and things like that, or like little bonus stuff. You kind of just went through, collected everything, and then got out. Oh, you did collect the dragons, and you were able to collect like dragon eggs and stuff. But other than that, not really a whole lot of meat on the bones. But this is gonna come up a lot more in Spyro's 2 and 3. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Like I said, this is definitely gonna be a long one, so strap in. Starting with this first one, Artisans. The Artisan's Homeworld, and we're starting off with the Spyro 1 level. So this is the Artisan's Homeworld. It's the first level that you start off with. In fact, this is like the first view that you're greeted to after you boot up the game, opening cutscene, all that. I thought about doing like the I thought about doing like the little startup screens, but I decided against it. Mostly because in the case like 2 and 3, those are levels that you get to play through anyway. That we already have on there, so it'd be kind of pointless. But yeah, so the Artisan's Homeworld, pretty simple. It's mostly designed just for you to get your feet wet. It's got some nice vibrant colors, like the greens here for the grass and everything, and the bushes, and then it's got some architecture and stuff here. And I decided to go with the PS1 looks for each of these maps rather than Reignited, mostly because I wanted to. I didn't want like the Reignited to be like, I didn't want to throw off the score. I might do a comparison list or something like that of original versus Reignited, but in this case, I want to do it just as like the regular Spyro game, like the original Spyro game. But nevertheless, Artisans is not a whole lot to do. There's some stuff you can do, but otherwise not really a whole lot. So this one, I am going to start off with B tier. Yeah, so the Artisan's Homeworld is going to be our first B tier, and honestly, I feel like a lot of these, when I usually do these tier lists, I feel like a lot of these usually end up through B, because they're kind of just good, not great, not horrible, just kind of good. But yeah, so we're starting off with B for Artisans here. Next up is Peacekeepers, and this one looks pretty interesting with the and thankfully, as I was looking for images, someone on Twitter, or I believe they're called Spyro Aesthetics, shout out to them, were able to provide like views of the pretty much the whole map here, or without Spyro or anything. They went in and modded so where you can get the whole map. But yeah. It's okay for the most part. It's a lot of brown and stuff. A little more to do because you have like the cannons and stuff this time around. to take out some of the peacekeepers, and you can take out one of the rocks in order to get to the flight level in this area. But otherwise, not really a whole lot of meat on the bones with this one. Some of the browns may throw people off a little bit, but it's supposed to be in like the desert and everything, so it makes sense. So peacekeepers, I think I'm also gonna put in B as well. Oh, and I also like the army music for peacekeepers. I think peacekeepers. I also like the army music. That's really nice touch as well. Well, really fit with the theme of the level and everything. Next up is Magic Crafters. This one looks pretty cool. I like the purples and everything on the mountains and the grass. This being a darker green color, it definitely has a bit of a magic element to it, which makes sense. This is Magic Crafters, and after all, and I think it looks pretty cool for the most part. So I think Magic Crafters, I'm also going to put in B. Yes, really solid. So Magic Crafters, I got put in B. It's pretty cool, and there's quite a few enemies to fight, and the music is very nice as well. Next up is going to be Beast Makers. This one I'm not really feeling as much. It's definitely got more of a mellow tone to it, both with the music as well as how the level looks and everything. Definitely a bit more of a mellow tone. It's got like the electric panels and everything. It's got the tower, which is nice. So it has some stuff going for it. But otherwise, I think the colors might be throwing me off a little bit, because definitely more. And I get why they did it this way, because it's supposed to be more like swampy, sort of muddy colors and everything. But I'm not really feeling it as much. But Beastmakers, I think, I think I'll be generous. I'll at least put it in B. Yeah, I'll be generous. I'll put it in B. Next up is going to be. So we got to scroll quite a bit. Is going to be Dreamweavers. This level looks pretty cool. Well, shout out to this two-sided fountain. I don't know if you guys can really see it here, but it's definitely in a similar vein to like Magic Crafters here, but more of like a dream and more like bizarro like things are kind of topsy-turvy, if that makes any sense. But I like the floating islands as well. Also adds to the whole dream state and everything. So I think Dreamweavers I am going to put in. Do I want to put in B or A? I think Dreamweavers I will. I think Dreamweavers I will put in B. I told you a lot of these are probably going to end up in B tier. Except for this next one, because the next one is Nork Nexus. It's not really a whole lot going on. It's literally just levels. That's it. No enemies, anything like that. And I get it's supposed to be like the end game, the end of the game and everything, and where you fight the big bad nasty Nork, but not really a whole lot going on, I feel like. So Nork Nexus, unfortunately, I am going to put in. I don't know if I want to put it in Head Back to the Portal, because first of all, the music is pretty much copied from Toasty, which is another point dog for me. But I also get the intention. I can at least appreciate the intention. So Nork Nexus, I am going to put in C. It's not really that great. But now we move on into the levels proper, starting with Stonehill. And I feel like most people, when they play Spyro the Dragon for the first time, this is usually, the first Spyro the Dragon anyway, I feel like this is usually the level that a lot of people start with. This is the level I start with pretty much all the time. Excuse me, but another kind of like get your feet wet sort of level. It's got some high-rise areas, and it's got some cool architecture like the bricks and stuff. Definitely somewhat mellow, but it definitely gives off like that castle vibe and everything, which I can appreciate. So Stonehill, I think I'm also going to put in B. Yeah, Stonehill is going to go in B. Pretty good stuff. Next up is, and next up is going to be Dark Hollow. I think when I did the Spyro the Dragon retrospective, which if you haven't already, go check that out. I think I put this as like my favorite level, and I really, really love this level. The atmosphere, the colors, the music, like how it's like very mellow and everything. And, pretty short level, but I still really, really love it. Something about it just makes me feel so calm and so good inside and everything. So Dark Hollow is actually going to be our first A tier. I don't know if I want to put it in Flames, only because it's so short, but I definitely it can at least put it in A tier. Really, really solid level in my opinion. Next up is going to be Town Square. This one's pretty cool. Again, some very interesting architecture. Similar to Stonehill here. Definitely a glide heavy level. Oh, and we have a couple of those in this game where you really get to test out your glide abilities, and it makes sense because it has part of the Artisan's homeworld. All three of these are in the Artisan's homeworld, so you're really just beginning the game and everything. So why not test your gliding out early on? And a lot of those jumps can be a bit annoying, but I think, but like I said, intention I can appreciate. Hey, but it still looks pretty cool, and it still plays relatively well. Oh, and the music is pretty nice as well. Oh, so I thought about playing the music here, but I want to avoid copyright. But so Town Square I will put in B as well. Oh, and I feel like for this video, especially this tier list, these rankings are going to be kind of all over the place. I imagine all 5 tiers are going to be filled with names. Well, the levels, that is. Next up is Dry Canyon. And another kind of glide heavy level at times, but I think it's okay. And it looks very similar to Peacekeeper. There's with a lot of the don't want to do that. With a lot of the colors and everything, but otherwise it's kind of okay. You kind of run around and do stuff. The music is pretty cool though. So Dry Canyon, I think I'll put in B. Yeah, Dry Canyon. I will put in B tier. Next up is going to be hang on, where is it? No, it's actually Ice Cavern. This one's pretty cool. Definitely a change up from the other levels. This Dry Canyon and another level, which we'll look at in just a second, in Peacekeepers, definitely follow like the Peacekeepers theme of like the desert and everything, as well as the brown colors. This one goes against it, going for an ice theme as well. And this one, you will do some gliding, but it doesn't rely too much on gliding. And the snow and ice and everything looks really, really cool. And no pun intended, but it looks pretty cool. And I do like a lot of the architecture, and this level does have quite a bit going on for it as well. So Ice Cavern, I am going to put in. Do I want to put in A or B? I think I might actually put in A. It going against the traditional way of the other 2 Peacekeepers levels, I think really makes it stand out and makes it more memorable. That and the music and everything. But next up is going to be Cliff Town. Definitely a glide heavy level. In fact, you reach the highest point in Cliff Town and can glide to almost anywhere. So definitely another test your gliding. And the glide heavy aspect and everything, I think might hamper it a little bit because you gotta glide to see all the other stuff. of me. While Dry Canyon, you do have to do some glides, but otherwise, a lot of the stuff you can get to almost from ground level. But Clifftown, I do really like the music though for Clifftown, but I think Clifftown I will put in. I think Clifftown I will put in B, or B or C. Uh, yeah, I think I'll leave it for B. Um, and also remember, these are all my opinions. So if you disagree with any of these, that is completely and totally fine. In fact, let me know what you guys your favorite, least favorite Spyro the Dragon levels. But next up, we move into the Magic Crafters levels, starting with Alpine Ridge. Now, oh, kind of unrelated, but am I the only one who, as a kid, wasn't scared of those like yellow monsters in Alpine Ridge? A lot of people talk about how the yellow monsters look really scary and everything when they were kids. They never scared me. If anything, they probably look a bit scarier in Reignited, but I'm still not scared of them, obviously, because I was 18 when that game came out. I'm like pretty much an adult and everything, but yeah, as a kid, I was never scared of them. There was a level that did scare me a lot more as a kid, but Alpine Ridge was not it. But otherwise, it's an okay level. Some gliding you will have to do, but otherwise, it's okay for the most part. Or it's probably one of like the first levels you'll play in Magic Crafters. But I don't think that's a bad thing. So I think Alpine Ridge is okay. So I'll put it in. It does have stuff going on for it, and the wizards can get kind of annoying though. So all that you do have to keep in mind. But I think, yeah, I think I'll be generous. I will put Alpine Ridge, in B tier. Alpine. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Next up is going to be, well, it's not really spelling B, but you probably should spell it right. And stuff. But next up is going to be, you have to do a mighty scroll back up to the top here. Next up is going to be a second. There's a lot of levels for your people. It's a lot of levels. High caves. The high caves definitely somewhat glide heavy, but more so supercharge heavy. To get to a lot of areas, pretty much setting you up. This is kind of the appetizer for a level that we'll see later on. But this one, I think, is interesting. And there was a spider. I was definitely scared of the spiders in the original. Well, the spiders definitely scared the crap out of me as a kid. More than the monsters in Alpine Ridge did. But otherwise, it's kind of okay. And a lot of the level is based around the spider caves and those supercharged areas. And the music is nice and mellow and everything as well, which is nice. But otherwise, the first half is kind of and then it goes into the other half. So I think this one I'm actually going to put in C. Yeah, I think high caves will have to go in C. Sorry about that, but it's gonna have to go in C, at least for me. Next up is going to be Wizard Peak. This one is interesting. Some glides, of course, some home glides, but maneuvering around this level can be a little bit tricky and can be a bit of a headache at times. To move around, especially when you're going for 100%, and then it does have some supercharged areas, so keep all that in mind. But otherwise, I think Wizard Peak. I do really like the music for Wizard Peak. The music for Wizard Peak is really good. So I think I want to put in B or C. I think I'll go with C, only because of like the maneuverability and everything. but it's still like of a low level. But next up is going to be Terrace Village. Um, Terrace Village. Uh, this one, this one is kind of it's okay. Uh, it, it is okay. It's similar to like it feels like a bigger version of like Beastmakers, but otherwise it's okay. A and there is quite a bit to do. They have like the rockets that you fire or to get hit the chests with the gems in them. There's electric floors that you also have to be wary of. So all that into account, there is plenty to do here. So I think Terrace Village, I will also put in. I think actually Terrace Village, I think I'll put in B. I'll be generous with Terrace Village. I will put it in B. Uh, so I'll put it in B there. Next up is going to be Treetops. Oh, Treetops. um, Definitely supercharge heavy, especially considering that you need the supercharges to not just finish the level, but to go for 100%. Finishing the level is kind of annoying with all the supercharges, but using it to 100% the level is frustrating. That jump to like the higher areas, there's like two major jumps that you have to make for the higher areas. Even to this day, I don't have them like down pat act. I still have to study them heavily, and I remember before when I played Spyro 1 on Twitch, which follow me on Twitch at the NDiddy, that's THWE_NDiddy. Before I went in for the Beastmakers and its levels session, I like studied the Treetops jump. So that I had to study both jumps, and I think I still died like once or twice. Thankfully, I didn't die that much while on stream, but still, they were frustrating. And Spyro's right when he freed that last dragon after one of the major jumps. Spyro's right. You could have found an easier spot to get stuck. But Treetops, I think, for that, and for it being so frustrating, I gotta head back through the portal on this one. Ooh. The music is nice though, and the environment is pretty cool, but it'll be absolutely ruined with all that this level puts you through. Next up is Misty Bog. This is another level that scared me as a kid, mostly because of those like plant thingies that, but it's like out of nowhere would just lunge forward and eat you, and the frogs with a long tongue that you can also almost never avoid. At least the music was kind of nice. It's kind of similar to like the end credits theme, but changed up a little bit. But otherwise, Misty Bog could be kind of frustrating and kind of but not as much as Treetops. But Misty Bog, I think I will still put in at least C. So Misty Bog is going to go in C. Next up we move into the Dreamweavers level, starting with Haunted Towers. This one does have another kind of tricky supercharge area, but nothing like this. It's like, and the supercharge jump, it takes a couple tries, but it's really not that hard. But Haunted Towers otherwise is pretty cool. I like the Knights in Armor and the Fairy. He's using that mechanic, and then one of the other bonus areas you could find in this level where there's like a bunch of armors and you kind of got to race against the clock. I think that can be a little bit annoying, but kind of cool as well. But otherwise, Haunted Towers and the music for Haunted Towers is really nice as well. Also, Haunted Towers, I think I will put in B. So Haunted Towers is going to go in B. And did I spell? Yep, I spelled village wrong. Go figure. But next up is going to be Lofty Castle. I really, really like this level. The music's very nice. It sounds very dreamy and everything. And there's some jumps, little annoying ones, but otherwise, nothing too bad. And This definitely, of all the Dreamweavers levels, this one feels the most like a dream. And shout out to having like 2 moons there, but definitely feels like a dream, almost kind of like an acid trip. I feel like, but otherwise, it looks pretty cool. And sounds really nice and everything. So Lofty Castle, I think actually Lofty Castle, I think I'm gonna actually put in A. Something about it I just really really like, and I've always really really liked it, even when I was younger. Next up is going to be, next up is going to be Dark Passage. This is the level that scared the crap out of me as a kid. Like, like the little creatures, and then they would turn to big monsters when the lights went out. I was terrified of this level as a kid. I never wanted to play it, but playing it now that I'm older, it's pretty cool. It's cool, and I do like the lights out mechanic is pretty interesting and definitely gives this level a bit of an identity. And the dark theme throughout, I think, is pretty cool. The music is also very nice. So Dark Passage, younger me would have gave this go back through the portal because I was so scared, but older me can appreciate it. So I am going to put it in B. The Dark Passage, I am going to put in B tier. And next up, 2 more like proper levels in the game, and then we'll move on to the boss levels, I believe. Nope, the flight levels actually. But let's finish up these 2 levels. Starting first with North Cove. This one I've always really really liked. Like how it's kind of got like the factory aesthetic going with it, and it's kind of funny. The Norks pretty much being like factory workers and everything, producing stuff for Nasty Nork. But the barrels that you gotta launch back at the enemies, can be pretty fun. And it's got the small Norks and the big Norks. Like, so just for me, a pretty fun level to traverse, and I really like the music as well. So I think North Cove I am going to put in A. Something about it I just really really like. And then the final proper, or not proper I should say, but like regular level in Spyro the Dragon is Twilight Harbor. Shout out to the guns that they can no longer have in the in the Reignited trilogy. But Twilight Harbor is kind of cool as well. I like the red and orange for the sky and everything. The music is pretty nice as well. The enemies, what they're shooting and everything, and what was kind of difficult to traverse as a kid. And now that I'm older, they're not as much of a problem. But the Norks geared up for war and everything. It's a pretty interesting concept. So I think Twilight Harbor, I think I'm also going to put in A. Something about it I really really like. So Twilight Harbor is going to go in A. Now the flight levels. Honestly, I hated the flight levels in this game. I hated them as a kid. I hate them now as an adult. Sunny Flight, I think Sunny Flight is like not as bad as the other ones, but it's pretty easy to beat. But just something about the flight levels I never really liked, probably because I sucked at them. But Sunny Flight is okay. Nothing really too difficult that you have to do for this level, but it's okay. So Sunny Flight, I'm gonna put in at least B. Yeah, so Sunny Flight, I'm going to put in B. Next up is going to be, hang on, I gotta go back down to the flight levels, is Night Flight. These lamps were kind of annoying to light, but otherwise, not too bad. And then you gotta go through the arches and everything, as well as the other stuff. And I believe there's rings you have to go through as well in this flight level. Otherwise, it's like, okay, nothing really too spectacular. Or so Night Flight, I think I'm gonna put in. I think I'll at least put it in B. Night Flight. I'm gonna put in B. Next up is Crystal Flight. And I feel like this one, Crystal Flight, is a little too similar to Night Flight. Even with some of the stuff you have to do. So the fact that they kind of copied and pasted a little bit, even Night Flight has crystals there. The fact they kind of copy and pasted doesn't really sit well with me. So I think Crystal Flight I'm gonna put in C for that. Uh, not really a big fan of that. Next up is going to be Wild Flight. This is probably my least favorite flight level. It is like, this was frustrating to have to complete. Like having to do stuff so precisely and everything. And, both in the original and Reignited, I really got frustrated with this level. It took me way too long to try and beat, both on and off stream. Off stream when I played it for the first time, and then on stream it took me a little while. Oh, so Wild Flights, I am going back through the portal ASAP. Get out of here with that. Next up is going to be Icy Flight. Icy Flight can get kind of annoying as well, but not as bad as Wild Flight. Some of the stuff like the lamps are back. This time it has treasure chests and stuff as well. In different areas you gotta go through, but nothing as bad as Wild Flight. But Icy Flight, I think, I'll at least put in C. Ooh, capitalize the F. Next up is going to be, let's see. Next is the boss levels, I think, right? Yep. So, the thing about Spyro 1, unlike the later Spyro games, as we'll see, the boss, not only is the boss there, but it has a dedicated level as well, so we also have to take that into account. First up is Toasty, which, believe it or not, Toasty is tied for another boss. That was for hardest boss in the game, which isn't saying much, because all the bosses in Spyro 1 are way too easy. Like, they're like almost pushovers. And I think they might have went a little overboard with it in the later Spyro games, partially because of these bosses, but kind of pushovers. The level itself is like, okay, hey, it doesn't take too long to get to Toasty himself. There's little nooks and crannies you can go to. There's the one of the things of note is like the dogs, which the dogs are one of the only enemies in the game that takes 2 hits to actually defeat. At least with the regular Spyro, the only other enemies that takes 2 hits are some of the armored Norks in Nork Cove, but those could be pretty scary, and they almost always hit me while I played, which was kind of annoying. But otherwise, then there's Toasty himself. You pretty much just gotta avoid his attacks and then just flame him 3 times. Turns out there's a sheep under there, or under that big disguise. But the look of the boss is also pretty cool, with like the big hat and pumpkin face and everything. And I know it looks a little rough because this is on PS1. Yeah, so Toasty, I think Toasty I will at least put in B. Taking both the boss and the boss level into account, I think I have to put in B. Next up is going to be the boss that had Toasty is tied for hardest with, Dr. Shemp. Yeah, this guy. The guy with the wide open back is the the hardest boss in the game. Yeah, but at least he looks kind of. He definitely has like a look. That is definitely a look, but otherwise, Dr. Shemp. Okay for the most part. His level, not too difficult. It can get a little bit annoying at times. I just like the enemies that are charging at you, but otherwise, Shemp is okay. So Dr. Shemp is going to go in B. But yeah, those were the 2 hardest in this game. So that means the rest. The rest you could probably beat with your eyes closed, starting with Blowhard. Or, or yes, that's his actual name. Yes, that's actually the name they gave him for this game. No, it's not me saying a dirty joke. Blowhard is literally just a tornado with a beard and like arms and everything. They kind of give him like more of a body in like the Reignited, but here it's literally just a beard with a face and arms. It looks ridiculous, and the level leading up to Blowhard is harder than the boss himself, who pretty much just runs away from you. At least I think these are the only two hardest ones because they actually attack, but like Blowhard actively runs away from you. Ridiculous. So because of that, I gotta put Blowhard in C. I wonder if the name was done on purpose. It makes you think, you know. Next up is Metalhead. I told you these PS1 models were gonna look rough, but Metalhead. Metalhead has an interesting mechanic where you have to take out all the poles and everything, all the electric poles, wait till they're not electrified, and then charge into them in order to take him out. And sometimes he'll send shockwaves at you, but otherwise he's really not hard. He is big and tall and tough and everything, and only 2 phases, and then he goes down. But otherwise, Metalhead, I think Metalhead I'll at least put in B. And the level leading up to it is like okay, but Metalhead I am gonna put in B. Next up is going to be, let's see, Jacques or Jacques. I think it's supposed to be pronounced Jacques, but there's a lot of people who pronounce it different ways. But Jacques runs away from you as well. Oh, why are you all running away from me? Stop. But the level itself has a lot of like interesting glides and twists and turns and stuff, and a lot of cool stuff going on. And Jacques just runs away from you. Just runs away from you. So Jacques, I am going to put in. I'm going to put in B. Mostly the level. Oh, it saves Jacques here. And then the last boss for the game is the big baddie himself, Nasty Nork. Shout out to, again, PS1. What can you do? But, again, Nasty Nork then runs away from you. Ooh, come on, Nasty. You started this big fight. You encased all the dragons in stone and everything, and then you run away? Dude! But yeah, he runs away from you as well. But you gotta chase thieves first to get the key. You used to like lower the platform, or then start chasing Nasty, and then from there you chase him, and then you flame him one time, and then you go through another area where you gotta chase him with some kind of like tricky jumps. So they're not really too hard, but yeah. So he pretty much like mostly runs away from you. Why? Hey, you started this. You started, finish it. But yeah, Nasty Nork, I gotta put in. I don't know, like for the chase and everything. I'm sorry, I gotta head back to the portal. Although I'll head back to the. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Although I hope you guys like my background, but I gotta head back through the portal. Because Nasty Aiden. Come on, man. And then the final level in Spyro 1 is Nork's Loot. There's a lot to do here. There's a lot of gems to collect. You chase some thieves to open upper levels so you can fly around, which you have infinite like perma-flight, kind of similar to like the flight stages for the level. Well, otherwise it's just fun. And then there's the big moment here with this room with this painting of Nasty, where there's a bunch of treasure and a bunch of like explosive baskets and everything with a lot of treasure. So it's just pretty fun. So Nork's Loot, just a fun little traversing and collecting all the gems are fun. So I think actually this is our first flames. Just very satisfying to collect all that treasure. Pretty much like a celebration for having beat the main baddie. But now we move on to Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. Starting with the home worlds. Thankfully, there's only 3 home worlds this time around. Starting with Summer Forest. This one I've always really liked. Like, really, really beautiful level with like the greenery and the water and stuff. Of which the water, unlike the first game, you can now swim in and everything. There's some stuff to do. There's some orbs to collect, whether it's hunters gliding and jumping challenge and everything, or having to swim, or learning to swim to access other areas. Just pretty fun and really, really love it. And then music is beautiful as well. So Summer Forest is our next Flames. And really, really like it. Is it 1 hour or 2 hours? I'm sure it'll correct me. Oh, it's 1 hour. Okay, so let me just there we go. All right. Next up is going to be so we can see here is going to be Autumn Plains. This one's pretty. This one's pretty interesting as well. This one you're not going to die in. This is more so just like a regular schmegular level. This one you can actually die in. Same with the next one that we'll look at. But otherwise, and let me actually minimize that a little bit. But the darker green looks interesting. It's got like the cool architecture and the trees and everything. There's quite a bit to do here. There's areas you gotta climb to. There's a pool that you can swim in. So on the plains, definitely with quite a bit to do. So I don't want to put it in Flames necessarily, but I think I'll at least put it in A. So Autumn Plains is gonna go in A. And then, lastly, for the home worlds for Spyro 2 is going to be the Winter Tundra. This one, I feel like of all 3, this one I feel like is kind of the weakest of the 3, but that doesn't really mean it's bad. Just kind of the weakest of the 3, in my opinion. Especially with that staircase that you gotta manually like jump up almost every step to get to Ripto. But otherwise, it does look pretty cool. The architecture is very nice. It's definitely got that wintry theme, like you can tell what it's trying to be and everything. And it's got the grass and stuff like that. So I think that definitely puts it over the edge for me, in a good way, that is. So Winter Tundra. I think I'm at least gonna put in. B. And the music is very, very nice as well for Winter Tundra. Oop, went a little too high. So the next, now we move on to the levels proper for Spyro 2, starting with Glimmer. Now, unlike the first game where you get transported to the first home world, this game, Glimmer is actually the first level you will go to, because that's where the game like starts at and unfolds in, which is why in Europe the game is actually called Spyro 2 Gateway to Glimmer. But Glimmer here, it does look pretty cool. You got like the gem cutters. You meet some of the characters such as like Hunter and Allura in the cutscene and everything. You meet the main baddie Ripto, as well as 2 like henchmen, Crush and Gulp. You meet Moneybags, and you wish you hadn't. There's some fun stuff to do. Not really like anything too crazy, just some flight stuff. You can take down some lava lizards, and you can take out some baddies as well. But Glimmer, I think, is pretty fun, and that music, just really, really good stuff. Definitely ingrained in my mind. So Glimmer, I am going to put in A. I think Glimmer is really, really fun and really, really cool. And I went too high again, so let me go back down. Next up is going to be Idle Springs. I really, really like Idle Springs as well. The tiki heads and everything look really cool. There's some stuff to do, such as charging into all of the totems and everything, as well as the big totem, and you can feed them fish and everything. There is a series of puzzles that lead to an orb and everything, and so a lot of hurdles to hop through in terms of bats. But otherwise, I think it's okay. And the puzzles can get a little annoying, but otherwise, I don't think it ruins it too much. So Idle Springs I am gonna put in B. Plus, I really like the music. The music is very very nice. Not the last time we'll hear it though. But next up is going to be Colossus. First of all, why I just have to get out of the way. But also, this level is really cool as well. I like the architecture. The architecture is really nice, and a lot of like the high rise stuff that you're able to do is pretty cool as well. The snow as well surrounding the area is pretty nice, and yeah, so I think taking all that into account, it's a pretty cool, interesting level, and the hockey stuff it is pretty fun as well. So Colossus, I think Colossus actually put in A. Yeah, Colossus will go in A. Yeah, I really really like it. Next up is, and I also have to point out how the people in Colossus and Idle Springs do look somewhat similar, and I think that might have been done on purpose. I'm not sure, but next up is Sunny Beach. Sunny Beach is like okay. I really like the music. The music is really really top notch for Sunny Beach. Probably one of my favorite soundtracks in the game. It's definitely got like the beach theme down packed, but otherwise some of the mini games are kind of especially like the turtle one where you gotta keep them out of the pot. It's not really hard. It's just kind of, for me at least, a little bit underwhelming. You have to hit the boxes as well to free some of the turtles. But otherwise, Sunny Beach is okay. So I think Sunny Beach I will put in B. So Sunny Beach is gonna go in B. Next up is going to be, let's see. Next up is going to be Hurricos. First of all, shout out to the Electrolls that sounded like SpongeBob. That was one of like the main things that like really stuck out to me for this level. But the other thing is how cool this level looks with like the greenery and the rain coming down and all like the techno stuff. And then there's both the robot and the gear grinder with the big gear, who many say may have been the inspiration for Ratchet and Clank, another game developed by Insomniac Games. But otherwise, the level does look pretty cool, and I really like, especially like the atmosphere of the level. I think the atmosphere for the level looks really, really nice. So, with that being said, Hurricos, I am going to put in. I'm definitely gonna put in A. I really, really like Hurricos. Most like the atmosphere, some of the stuff you can do, such like the gliding and everything. It's somewhat glide heavy, but this time around I think it does work. Because as you can beat the level regularly without having to glide, but then you glide for like the extra challenge and everything. I think it looks really nice, so I'm definitely gonna put in A. Next up is Aquaria Towers. An actual fun underwater level. Although it's not as fun as the other underwater levels we will see in the series, but Aquaria Towers does look pretty good, and I really like the music as well, and like all the towers and stuff, and how you like gradually increase the water as you go throughout the level. I think that is really well done. Like I said, the music really really good. Some of the mini games you can do are kind of they're okay for the most part, but still really really fun. I really really like it. So Aquaria Towers, I think just off the atmosphere alone, I definitely am gonna put it in. Yeah, I gotta go with A. It's really really good. So Aquaria Towers is gonna go in A. Oh, went too far again. Next up is going to be Skilos Badlands. So these are all the summer forest levels, and now we move on to the autumn plains levels. Starting with Skilos Badlands, the prehistoric vibe to this level I think is really really nice, and what really really makes it stand out for me. There's some fun stuff to do, such as chasing the lava lizards, which sometimes isn't as fun, or assembling the skeleton. I think all that is pretty cool, and like the caveman aesthetic as well. I think really helps with that. And so Skilo's Badlands, and the music is very nice as well. So Skilo's Badlands, I'm going to put in. Do I put in B or A? I think I'll put it in A. Skilo's Badlands. Um, I definitely really like it. Next up is Crystal Glacier, which is kind of like the sister level for Skilo's Badlands, and I feel like the Autumn Plains levels have a lot of like sister levels to them, but this one more in line with like the Ice Age. Don't think I like it as much as Skilo's Badlands, but um, it is still pretty cool. Again, no pun intended. And some of like the bones and stuff, I think, do look pretty nice. Uh, and like some of that architecture and everything. The mini games not as fun this time around, but I think it still looks okay. So Crystal Glacier, well, I don't think I want to put it in A. I will at least be generous and put it in B. So Crystal Glacier is going to go in B. Next up is going to be. Next up is going to be Breeze Harbor. I really like this level with like the calm atmosphere, and like all the steam powered machinery and everything, and some of like that tech and techno wizardry. He almost in line with like industrial stuff. I think he really makes this level stand out, at least for me. Some of the colors, the color palette that they use for this level is also really nice. Um, there are a couple mini games that like are kind of more specifically that godforsaken trolley, trouble with the trolley, but but otherwise I think it looks pretty cool. So Breeze Harbor, I am going to put in B, and this level also has a sister level in Zephyr, because these two are at war with each other. So Breeze Harbor is home to the Breeze Builders, which are like birds, and they're attacked by landlubber. And then we help clear the landlubber infestation. So they say they're going to counterattack on Zephyr, which is the home of the landlubber. So this time we fight the Breeze Builders. And some people have said it's like, oh, Spyro's waging war, or causing these two to wage war. They were already waging war. If anything, Spyro's trying to stop them. Hashtag Spyro's innocent. But Zephyr, I think between these two, I think I like Zephyr a little bit more. There's a lot more to do in Zephyr. The mini games get kind of annoying, but like the greenery and everything, and that really nice music, I think is what really helps it. So Zephyr, I think I will put in B, but it's still really cool. I still really like it. Next up is going to be Magma Cone. This one's okay. Not the biggest fan of it, I will admit, but it's okay at least. And I do like I do like the music. The music is really nice, and it does have some nice architecture, and it does have the latter part, which is definitely relying on like the flight power, or as you explore like the volcanic area and everything. But otherwise, it's just okay. So Magma Cone, I think I'm gonna be generous and put it in B. So Magma Cone is gonna go in B. Next up is going to be. Let's see here. Next up is going to be. Yeah. Next up is going to be Fracture Hills. This one's okay. It's definitely, he got those annoying bagpipes from the satyrs, but otherwise it's okay. Reusing the music from Idle Springs, which I'll admit I'm not the biggest fan of, although I do think it does fit this level as well for the most part. I wish this level had its own theme instead of just borrowing the one from Idle Springs, but but I do like it for the most part. And battling the Earth Shapers can get a bit annoying, but it's okay. The major knock against it, though, is the Alchemist. Its mission. That Alchemist mission, aka the worst mission in the Spyro game, is just not worth it. The Hunter one that goes right after, which on your first visit, don't do the Alchemist stuff. Well, that is if you're going for 100%. If you're not going for 100%, you can just complete this level and then just move on with your day. But if you're going for 100%, don't do the Alchemist mission your first time here, because as you'll have to come back once you get the head bash ability, and that will help you take out the Earth Shapers. But that means you'll have to redo the Alchemist mission, and nobody wants to redo the Alchemist mission. But still, the level does look pretty cool, and everything. But those things, the bagpipes and the Alchemist mission, I feel like really drags it down. And we gotta keep that in mind. So unfortunately, I gotta put it in C, which sucks because almost everything else about the level is pretty good, but that stuff definitely drags it down. But next up is Scorch. Scorch I really like. I like the sunny atmosphere and everything, and a lot of that architecture and everything. And, excuse me. It definitely some Middle Eastern influence here, or with that but otherwise it does look pretty cool. And I do really like the music as well. It looks really nice. The mini games, not really politically correct nowadays, but the mini games are kind of okay for what they are. Or the Hunter one is a little bit annoying, but that's what it is. And then facing the Flag Keeper as well can get a bit tiresome at times, but otherwise it's okay. So Scorch, I am going to put in B. Yeah, Scorch is gonna go in B. Next up is going to be went too high again. Next is going to be where is it? Is going to be Shady Oasis. 1 second, I'm just gonna plug my laptop back in. But Shady Oasis, there's a little bit more to do here as opposed to this one, but I don't think I like it as much. The music kind of a remix of the Scorch theme, but with some added stuff. But otherwise, Shady Oasis kind of just okay. So I think on that basis, I'll put it in. Also put it in B. Still really nice though. But next up is going to be. You not want to go up that high. Next up is going to be, and this is the end of the Autumn Plains levels. So that means next up is going to be Mystic Marsh. This one kind of but the music is nice, and kind of just like the absurdity of some of the creatures that inhabit here, who elevate it a little bit, but otherwise it's kind of just okay. So Mystic Marsh, I think I'll at least put in B. Mostly because there is quite a bit to do here, and there is quite a bit of level to explore, which is nice. And like I said, it's very, very nice as well. Next up is going to be Cloud Temples, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so Cloud Temples is kind of like the sister level to here. It has similar inhabitants. This one, I feel like I really like the music. The architecture is really nice, and there's quite a bit to do, but I don't know if I like it as much as Mystic Marsh. That, and there's the Secret Agent mission, which it's not really hard, it's kind of dumb, but otherwise, Cloud Temples, I think I will put in. I think Cloud Temples I will also put in B as well. So Cloud Temples is going to go in B. But next up is going to be. Not too high. It's gonna be Robotica Farms, which I really, really like. I like the country the atmosphere of Robotica Farms with like the grass and like the bugs and everything, and kind of like the farm setting that the level has. I think it looks pretty cool. Well, and the mini games aren't really that hard, so I think Robotica Farms I am going to put in B. Still, still, still really cool. And then, and the last regular level in the game is Metropolis. And again, this is a sister level to Robotica Farms, except this one's more like country and like farm and everything. This is more city oriented and everything. And I think I like this one more and stuff, even though it has like aliens and like space cows, and space sheep for almost like no reason, but. Oh yeah, because the animals are supposed to be taken over here, but I still really like Metropolis, and I like the vibe and the music and everything. It looks really cool. I think I like it a little bit more than Robotica Farms, so I think because of that, on that basis, I'm gonna put it in A. I really like it. And then we move on to the flight levels. This time around, the flight levels are actually pretty fun in Spyro 2. But starting first with Ocean Speedway, I really like this one. There's some interesting twists and turns. It looks really nice. The music is really cool as well. The Hunter mini game for here is kind of but I really like this one, Ocean Speedway. So I think Ocean Speedway I'll actually put in A. Yeah, Ocean Speedway I do really like. Just something about it is really nice. Ooh. Ocean Speedway. Next up is going to be, let's see, is going to be, not that is Spyro 3, which we are not at yet. Next up is going to be Metro Speedway. Hey, going back to that city vibe, similar to Metropolis. It's I do like it, well, like all the buildings and stuff. Although sometimes it can get a little bit annoying, but otherwise it's still okay. So Metro Speedway, I will at least put in B. Next up is going to be Icy Speedway, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so Icy Speedway. It's okay. I don't think I like it as much as Metro Speedway, but it's still okay, and there's still a lot of bit to do in the Hunter segment, which I didn't mention. The Hunter segment for here is kind of The Hunter segment for here is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is kind of similar to the one in Ocean Speedway, flying through the rings and everything. But otherwise, Icy Speedway, I'm gonna put in B. Yeah, so Icy Speedway is going to go in B. And then finally there is Canyon Speedway. Yes. This one I feel like out of all of these is probably the most fun. Like for starters, it's probably the easiest. The Hunter segment isn't that bad either, and everything's almost grouped up together, which definitely doesn't make it a chore to play. Okay, so Canyon Speedway, you know what, Canyon Speedway, nah, I'll at least put it in A, but it's still really good. Definitely the best out of all four, or the one I like the most, or perhaps the one I dread the least. I'm not sure, but yeah, I feel like the speedways in Spyro 2 were way better than the first one. Now we move on to the bosses / boss levels. Unfortunately, unlike the first game, the boss is the level. There's no like level leading up to you facing the boss, but the trade-off is the bosses are actually, they actually feel like bosses this time around. They're actually somewhat difficult. Starting with Crush here, and some of the interesting ways you can fight Crush, with him having the pads which shoot out either electricity or fireballs, then you having to go up and flame him, then he hits the ground, and then rocks come from the ceiling and hit him. I think that is pretty cool. And and it does give some challenge when it comes to facing Crush here, and it makes it satisfying when you beat him. So, Crush, I am going to put in. Do I put in A or B? I I think Crush I will put in. Compared to the first game, it's Flames, but Crush I think I'll at least put in A. Crush's dungeon. I will at least put in A. And the areas that you fight the bosses are mostly like flat surfaces and everything. There is some lava surrounding the area, I guess, to prevent you from escaping and everything. But otherwise, it's okay. Or not okay. It's pretty good. Next up is Gulp. Gulp is difficult. He's easily like the hardest boss in the game. And Gulp is actually kind of tricky to defeat. You have to either launch these barrels at him or shoot rockets at him or just do the super flame if you got 100% like I did. But Gulp can get pretty tricky, and both his shoulder cannons and him crushing you almost hit you almost every time. And pretty difficult. So I think with that being said, I don't know if I like it as much as Crush, but so Gulp's Overlook is gonna go in B, at least for me. And then finally, there's Ripto's Arena. Ripto, aka the best. As I scroll down here, Ripto, the best boss in the game by far. Or like, hey, he either runs away from you or like when he's powered up because Hunter throws orbs down that you can pick up, but that Ripto can also pick up. Thanks, Hunter. But otherwise, he's like a coward running away from you, relying on others. He brings back a mechanized version of Gulp to fight you, and then you take him out, and then the final part, you take it to the skies. It's definitely way more of an enjoyable boss than Nasty Nork running away from you. And like I said, Ripto kind of does run away from you as well, but otherwise, Ripto definitely feels like a final boss. So Ripto's Arena is definitely going in flames because Ripto is a fantastic boss. And then finally, there's the bonus level, which is Dragon Shores. There's Dragon Shores. Not really a whole lot of action. There is some like fun mini games to do. Otherwise, it's just like kind of a reward break level. That's where Spyro was supposed to be going anyway, and then he finally gets to go after her taking care of Ripto and everything. So it's kind of just a break level. It's just some carnival games like you're able to dunk people in the water. There's like a roller coaster. There's like a love tunnel thing. Believe it or not, I've never actually seen a love tunnel in person. Like, I've seen it, like, parodied on TV shows and stuff, but I've never actually seen it in person. And if there's an amusement park, especially here in Buffalo, that has a love tunnel, let me know. I just want to ride it. Even if I have to ride it by myself. I just want to see what all the hoopla is about, why it's always parodied in TV shows and movies and stuff. But I've never actually seen one in person. But Dragon Shores, nevertheless, I think I'll be generous and at least put it in B, because again, I can appreciate the intent, and it's funny that Norks are running Dragon Shores. I guess that must be their punishment for what Nasty Nork did in the first game, but otherwise, yeah. So Dragon Shores is gonna go to B. Next up in Spyro 3, and starting off with the home world, first we have Sunrise Spring. Really love Sunrise Spring. The music is very, very nice. There's some stuff to do around here, and I really like the scenery and everything with like the mountains and the greenery and stuff like that. I think it's really cool. So Sunrise Spring, I'm gonna put in A. I really like it. So Sunrise Spring is gonna be our first A for the Spyro 3 levels. Next up is going to be one too high, Midday Garden. Midday Garden I like for the most part. It's got nice music and everything, but I feel like it's kind of the weakest out of the homeworlds. But otherwise, it's pretty nice, and there's some stuff to do and some levels to complete as well and everything. And for the homeworlds, I'm not counting the levels themselves that you find in it because that wouldn't be fair. I'm treating Midday Garden just as a level, just from the service on its own merit. And that's what I'm gonna do for the all the homeworlds and everything, and that's what I've done for all the homeworlds in this ranking, as you've seen. But Midday Garden, I think I will at least put it in B. It's okay. Midday Garden is gonna go in B. Next up is going to be my personal favorite homeworld, based off just the music, Evening Lake. Definitely my favorite soundtrack. Not unlike the original version, but more so the greatest hits version where it has its own theme song. It's so calming and so enjoyable, and I really like it. I think in like the original version, which by the way, a lot of the tracks in the original version of Spyro 3 were repeated from other levels because the game was rushed, but thankfully they corrected it in the greatest hits version, and as well as some other versions. But Evening Lake, I think on that merit, and thankfully they were able to get the greatest hits versions for the Reignited trilogy, which I think was a very wise call. But Evening Lake, I am definitely gonna put in A. I don't know if I want to put it in Flames, but it's okay. And then, alright, it's pretty good, I should say. And then finally, the final home world for Spyro 3 is Midnight Mountain. The dark, like the dark nighttime atmosphere, or the architecture, the mountains, and the moneybags chase. Yeah, the fact that you can actually die in this home world makes it really solid. So Midnight Mountain, Midnight Mountain is definitely gonna go in A, at least for me. So Midnight Mountain, you are going in A. And now for the levels proper. Oop, I went too high again. I keep going too high on these. And there's quite a bit of levels because there's some more like extra levels that we have to take into account for Spyro 3. But starting with Sunny Villa, and if you're like me, this is likely going to be the first level that you come across that you actually go into when you first start Spyro 3 and everything, because it's literally like right there, just a couple jumps, and then the level's right there, and then you can go into it and everything. But Sunny Villa is pretty cool. I like the kind of like the Greco-Roman theme going on. The architecture is very nice as well. Very good architecture. Very colorful, very vibrant, and so Sunny Villa for me is definitely going to go in. A. I really like it. Not a whole lot of like difficult stuff to do. Really, you're kind of just starting off the game, but otherwise, it's going in A. The mini games are like okay. Hey, there is the skate park, but there is a much bigger one that we'll get to, and then the Sheila section is like okay as well. Next up is going to be Cloud Spires. There's not could spires. They will spires because they're Cloud Spires. That's a terrible joke. I apologize, but Cloud Spires I really like. Like the atmosphere that it has with like the clouds and the rain and everything. Some good architecture as well. Oh, and why do I say like good architecture and stuff? Because it's a lot of stuff that you can jump on and everything, and definitely with like a lot of the areas of building stuff that you can jump onto, it definitely gives it quite a bit of an identity. But otherwise, it's pretty cool. And the mini games are okay. Hey, you literally make like a sun, but otherwise, Cloud Spires I really like, and the music is really well done for it as well. So Cloud Spires, I think I'm also gonna put in A. It's really good in my opinion. Spelled Villa wrong. Okay, but Next up is going to be, scroll back down. Next up is going to be Seashell Shore. Try saying that 5 times fast. Can I do it? Let me see. Seashell Shore, Seashell Shore, Seashell Shore, Seashell Shore, Seashell Shore. Yeah. But but this level will definitely. I feel like between this and like Sunny Beach, I think I lean towards this one a little bit more. Definitely very vibrant as well. And I think it's also pretty fun, and with like the underwater stuff as well. The mini games, are what bring it down a little bit, especially like going through the tunnel and everything, having to hit every single Rhinoc, as well as the fight against Bluto and his shark submarine, which I swear is a lot more difficult and reignited. But otherwise, it's okay. Hey, it's pretty good, I should say. I really like Seashell Shore. Something about it is really, really nice. So, Seashell Shore is going in. Something about it I really, really like. Go away, please. Thank you. Next up is going to be. Next was going to be the Midday Gardens level. Wait a minute. Oh shoot! I skipped one. I skipped Molten Crater. I'm like, wait a minute, where's Molten Crater? But I skipped right over it and went straight for Seashell Shore. My apologies, but Molten Crater I really like as well. The atmosphere, more like the nighttime. It's got like that, like party aspect to it. Which is really cool. It has like the speed section and where you chase after the thief, which it is what it is. It's not really that difficult. It's just a bit time consuming, if anything. And then there's a Sergeant Bird area. It was kind of but otherwise, Molten Crater I like as well. Sorry, I almost skipped over you, but Molten Crater I will at least put in B. Next up is going to be the Midday Gardens levels. Now we're going into the Midday Gardens levels, starting with Bamboo Terrace. Bamboo Terrace, it's got quite a bit to do, which is nice, and then it's got the Bentley section, which is but otherwise I think it is pretty decent for the most part, and I do also really like the music. The music is very nice as well. So Bamboo Terrace, I think I will put in. I'll put in B. Yeah, I may really like it. That's really, really cool in my opinion. Next up is going to be. Let's see. Next up is going to be the Spooky Swamp. Spooky Swamp, I think, is pretty cool. Like the nighttime aspect, and some of the stuff to do, and the fact that the water actually has some hazards in the form of piranhas there, I think, is a nice touch, and definitely makes this level stand out a little bit more. The mini games I feel like are kind of hit or miss. The misses are like the Sheila ones, because think of the Alchemist mission, but double it for 2 Dragonite. And there's a fight against Sleepyhead, which is okay for the most part. But otherwise, Spooky Swamp, I think, is pretty decent. So Spooky Swamp is going to go in B as well. It's going to go in B. Next up is going to be... if I can stop going as high as I've been going, that'd be nice. Next up is going to be Icy Peak. I feel like what do I want to say about Icy Peak? It's one of the 2 like frozen / like snow levels that we'll get in the game, but Icy Peak I think is okay for the most part. It does have a another thief chasing mini game with like the supercharge and everything, being similar to like Molten Crater. And then it has the one where you're protecting Manti, the ice skater, but otherwise it's okay. The music is really nice, and there is quite a bit to do and traverse around here. But otherwise, Icy Peak, I think I will put in B. So yeah, Icy Peak is going in B for me. Next up is going to be Enchanted Towers. I really, really like Enchanted Towers. It does have the same music as Sergeant Bird's level, which we'll get to, but and you can like explore this area as Sergeant Bird, so I guess that is probably why they did it that way. But I do like it, and they do try to differentiate it a little bit more in the Reignited trilogy, which I do like, and I can appreciate. But otherwise, it does look pretty cool. And it does have that really, really awesome skate park and everything. And so, Enchanted Towers, I am going to put in A. I really like Enchanted Towers. Enchanted Towers is going to go in A. If I can spell it right. But next up is going to be. Let's see here. Fireworks Factory. Oh, wait a minute. Did I skip? Nah. Alright. Hey, we're in the evening late levels. Make sure I didn't skip anything again. But next up is Fireworks Factory. This one, I think when I did my Spyro Dragon retrospective, again, check it out on my YouTube channel. I think I put this one as my favorite, and I still really like it with like the ninjas and like the nighttime aesthetic, and the music is really cool. The only thing that kind of drags it down is like the double dragon fight and the Agent 9 mission, but otherwise it's still really, really cool. So Fireworks Factory for me is definitely going in A. Definitely. Ooh. Make sure my camera's nice and center and everything. I do still really like it, in my opinion. Next up is going to be. Hang on a second. Next up is going to be. Charmed Ridge. This one I really like. It kind of reminds me of like Haunted Towers a little bit. It like some of the magic aspects and everything, but otherwise I do like Charmed Ridge. The music is very nice. It's got the one mini game with Jack and the magic beans and everything, and finding the golden goose. That one is like okay. The Sergeant Bird one is okay, but it can get a little annoying. But otherwise, Charmed Ridge as a whole, I do like for the most part. So. Charmed Ridge I am gonna put in B. Next up is going to be Frozen Altars. This is the other snow level, so much Icy Peak, and I feel like between Frozen Altars and Icy Peak, I think I am going to lean more towards Frozen Altars. Aside from the Bentley boxing, which exists, I do really like Frozen Altars. The penguins voiced by Tom Kenny do sound nice and chill. Well, at least, first of all, no pun intended, but also they sounded a lot more chill like the original. It's a little bit more, enthusiasm this time around. On in the Reignited when Tom Kenny revoiced them. But otherwise, as I do like it, and I like the environment of the level and how it looks and everything, and the music is really nice as well. So Frozen Altars, I am going to, Bentley boxing aside, Frozen Altars, I think I am going to put in A. Next up is going to be, let's see, and scroll up here, Lost Fleet. This one is okay. It does have it is like a remixed version of the soundtrack for Sheila. Here in Lost Fleet, even with like some little extras in there. They do try to differentiate it a little bit more in Reignited, but otherwise, there's that. It does have the skateboarding race minigame, which isn't quite as fun, but and it does have the submarine one, which can get a little annoying at times. But otherwise, I think Lost Fleet is okay for the most part, and I do like how it's got the abandoned pirate ship theme going on. on and like looking for treasure and everything. And, that aspect I think is pretty cool. So uh, I will at least put Lost Fleet in B tier. So Lost Fleet. Next up is going to be, if I could stop going so high, that'd be nice. Desert Ruins. I really like Desert Ruins. I really like the music, and the ruins and everything, like the ancient Roman theme going on. I really like some of those mini games, such as like the Hunter and the Manta Ray. He is like okay, but otherwise I do like it. And fun fact: the music for Desert Ruins, in the original, was also given to the skate park in Enchanted Towers. By the time the greatest hits came out, the skate park in Enchanted Towers then had its own theme. But otherwise, I do like it for the most part. Actually, both the mini games, and then the Dog Escort one in Enchanted Towers also have the Desert Ruins theme, which I don't mind. The Desert Ruins is nice, but I did want to hear those themes again. But otherwise, Desert Ruins I really like. It does have the side-scrolling Sheila section, which I think, which try saying that 5 times fast, which I think is pretty cool. But otherwise, Desert Ruins as a level, as I will get off my screen, is going to go into A tier. Alright, now we move on to Haunted Tomb, and I really like this one. Or actually, the aesthetic, I should say. The minigames suck in Haunted Tombs, but the aesthetic with like the Egyptian theme and everything, I think is really cool. Well, but the minigames definitely drag it down, and remember, we have to keep the minigames in mind. So with that, Haunted Tomb, I gotta head back to the portal on this one. Like, the minigames are annoying here, which sucks because the level is so cool, but the mini games are like the worst ones in Spyro 3. There's the tank battle, there's the Agent 9 ones, which the Agent 9 is probably the best out of all of them, and then there's the slide. Not a fan at all. Oh, and then next up is Dino Mines. Again, and another aesthetically really cool level. This one being like the Old West and everything, ruined by the mini games, especially the Agent 9 one. The Agent 9 one's even worse than Dino Mines. And then there's the tunnel again from Seashell Shore. Of all the mini games, you could have repeated why that one. And Dino Mines again. I'm gonna head back to the portal. I do not like it at all. Like, it is like frustrating being in Dino Mines. Thankfully, it wasn't that bad when I played it on stream, but otherwise, and I can tell it's definitely easier in Reignited. But next up is and this is gonna be the final like regular level in the game. Is Crystal Islands. Thankfully, this one's not as frustrating as the other ones. The Bentley minigame can be kind of annoying, and then there's the slide, which is nowhere near as annoying and difficult as the one in Haunted Tomb. But otherwise, I do really like the aesthetics of this level, like the crystals and everything, and the animals being turned into crystal, which is kind of the main conflict, is that the animals are pretty upset because they got turned into crystal, and the ecosystem essentially got disrupted. But the water and everything, I think, is really, really cool. So Crystal Islands, I will at least put in B. Thankfully, it's not as bad in terms of like mini games as opposed to Haunted Tomb and Dino Mines. And fun facts. So remember how I said some of those soundtracks were repeated? Crystal Islands had to. In the original version, and in later versions, these three all got their own themes. But in the original, Crystal Islands had the Seashell Shore theme, Dino Mines had the Molten Crater theme, and Haunted Tomb had the Cloud Spires theme. And so, interesting stuff. But now we move on to the bonus characters levels. There's 4 brand new characters to play as in this level, and this is kind of and they get their own level that you have to play through in order to then use them in other levels. And we're gonna go through them. So first is Sheila's Alp, which considering Sheila's supposed to be from Australia, why is she in the Alps? Um, but otherwise, it does look pretty cool. There's some big jumps and everything, and of course Sheila can jump very very high in the air, and she's able to help out her friends, the Billy Goats. So on that note, I think it does look pretty cool. But yeah, so Sheila's Alp, I think I'm gonna put in B. So Sheila's, not Salp, Alp. Sheila's Alp is gonna go in B. I think it's okay. Next up is going to be Sergeant Bird's base, which can get a bit annoying to navigate at times, but otherwise I think it's okay for the most part. And definitely a lot of high up stuff because Sergeant Bird is able to fly in the air infinitely. He even though he's a penguin and he shouldn't really be able to fly, but okay. But Sergeant Bird's base, I think I'll also put in B as well. Also, Sergeant Bird's base is gonna go in. Sergeant Bird's base. There we go. Is gonna go in B. Next up is going to be. Yeah, we gotta scroll down even more. Or I keep going way too high. What the heck? Next up is gonna be Bentley's Outpost, which Bentley probably my least favorite bonus character in the game. Well, actually second least favorite. I think I said in my retrospective. I think I said my least favorite was Agent 9, but Bentley's like a close second. And he's supposed to be like big and strong and everything, but some of his controls are a little bit wonky. But the Outpost is like okay. Hey, there's some stuff to navigate. Thankfully, it's not too long, so you're not gonna beat your head against the wall over it. But Bentley's Outpost, I think, is like an okay level, and there's plenty of stuff to do as the character. So Bentley's Outpost is gonna go in B as well. And then lastly, for the bonus character level is gonna be Agent 9's Lab, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is probably the longest out of all four. Or I think maybe the other one that might be Sergeant Bird's base. But Agent 9's Lab, kind of lengthy, kind of quite a bit to do in order to really get you exposed to the character and how he moves and functions and operates and everything. But otherwise, I think it's okay. So Agent 9's Lab is also going to go in B. So all of them and all their levels and everything are B tiers, which is interesting. The next up is going to be the Speedways, starting with Mushroom Speedway. I feel like in terms of like where we are in terms of like Speedway enjoyability, I feel like Spyro 3. I feel like Spyro 2 and 3 are tied in terms of enjoyability. The Speedways in Spyro 3 are much easier, or they're a lot better than Spyro 1, but I feel like as a whole, I don't think they're quite as fun as like Spyro 2, but that's just me. But Mushroom Speedway, I do like the music, and the mushrooms and everything, and how the level looks. It does look pretty cool. And the aesthetic is nice. The music is very nice as well, and the hunter section is what it is. So, the Mushroom Speedway, I think I'm gonna put in B. Next up is going to be Country Speedway, I think, right? Yeah. So next up is Country Speedway. This one, I feel like this one's probably the weakest out of the out of the four, I should say. But it's like okay. Hey, some of the twists and turns are a little bit weird, and the hunter section, and I feel like the hunter sections this time around are kind of like almost a non-factor, but otherwise, I think the Country Speedway I'll at least put in in B. Next up is Honey Speedway. I think this one's probably my favorite. The music is really nice. The aesthetic's really nice. The nighttime, all the honey and stuff, and the honeycombs everywhere are pretty cool. And the hunter section, while a little bit difficult, I do something about I do like him going down the river of honey and everything, invading the sheep saucer, trying to capture the egg. Which essentially all four of these hunter sections are about hunter trying to get eggs, either keep them away from the sheep saucers or giving them back from the sheep saucers. But this one, something about it I really like. So, so for me, this one, Honey Speedway, is going to go in. It's going to go in A. And then finally, in terms of the speedways, we're gonna go. It's gonna be Harbor Speedway. This one's okay. A. Don't know if I like it as much as the other ones, but it's okay. I do like the aesthetic. The music is nice. The music for Harbor Speedway gets repeated for all four speedways in the original version, in the Greatest Hits version, and all four have their own soundtracks. But Harbor Speedway, I think, is okay, so I'm gonna put it in B. So Harbor Speedway is going to go in B tier, at least for me. Next up is going to be the boss areas, right? Yep. So, again, similar to Spyro 2, kind of like flat surfaces for the most part, no level proper leading up to it. So we start off with Buzz's dungeon. Buzz, I feel like, is kind of simple and everything and not too hard. So, that I like, and he's like an okay boss, nothing too frustrating. And so Buzz's dungeon, I am going to put in. I'm gonna put in B. I think I mentioned him as my favorite boss in when I did my retrospective. But he's okay. But next up is gonna be Spike's Arena. Spike, you collect some rocks and everything to take him out, but otherwise Spike, I feel like, is okay. Not too great, but he's okay. Kind of like unmemorable, really remarkable. Well, at least is Spike. So Spike's Arena is going to go in B. Next up is Scorch's Pit. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is Scorch's Pit, right? Yep. Let me see. Yep, Scorch's Pit. Scorch is pretty cool. Oh, and honestly, I feel like I might change. I think Scorch might actually be my favorite hit from the game, now that I think about it. But Scorch was really cool. The fact he's able to rain down a bunch of orbs and fly around, and you have to use, like, the rockets as another, like, power-ups to take him out. And then he sends all kinds of stuff, like the crab here, or he sends, like, one of the... he sends like one of the TNT weasels from Icy Peak over to you, and he straight up sends Buzz one of the eggs. So I think Scorch I actually like the most. So yes, I'm changing it from my retrospective. I'm actually going against the retrospective this time, and so Scorch's Pit I'm actually going to put in A. And then finally there's the Sorcerer's Lair. I feel like it was really disappointing fighting the sorceress. It's fun fact, she and Spyro have no interaction in the game at all. And they didn't even fix this in Reunite. No pre-battle banter, no nothing like that. Here's here's sorceress, just fight her. There's no interaction between her and Spyro. She obviously knows of Spyro, but no interaction between him and her. Spyro and Nasty Nork interacted, although they didn't interact much either. And then Rito and Spyro had constant interactions. So the sorceress, I feel like, makes her the most disappointing, and the fight is kind of annoying. Fighting her, nothing too crazy, but it's just kind of eh. So Sorcerer's Lair, I'm actually gonna put in C. The Sorceress's Lair. It was definitely majorly disappointing. But nevertheless, next we move on to the Sparks levels. Yeah, Sparks guys all levels this time around, starting with Crawdad Farm. Crawdad Farm, I feel like more so to get your feet wet. Nothing really crazy. Crawdad Farm. For that, I think I'm gonna put in B. For Crawdad Farm. Yeah, so I'm gonna go B. Next up is going to be Spider Town. Yes, Spider Town, kind of creepy, but nothing too crazy. And the spider boss, us as well. Well, it looked kind of creepy and would spin around all over the place. So you had to be careful. The spiders did get a little much at times, but thankfully you had stuff like strafing and everything to help you out. So Spider Town, I think Spider Town might actually put in C. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah, so Spider Town. I really almost put Spider Man. Oh Jesus! But which, by the way, we're playing Spider Man on Twitch. I might go live tomorrow with that, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, follow me on Twitch. And then next up is gonna be Starfish Reef. Starfish Reef is okay. Surprisingly enough, the final boss is a manta ray. Which is weird, but otherwise the level itself is okay. So I think Starfish Reef I'm also gonna put in B. Yeah, and then finally Bugbot Factory. Bugbot Factory was really annoying at times, and I guess it's supposed to be the final Sparks level, and a level specifically designed to take out Sparks. As Zoe put it, pretty much setting up bug bots to kill Sparks and everything, take him out for good. But it was just kind of eh. And the Centipede boss was kind of cool, but otherwise, not really the biggest fan of it. So Bugbot Factory, I'm gonna put in C as well. And then the final level of the Spyro trilogy, and the final level in this tier list that we have to look at, is Super Bonus Round. If you have made it this far, or congratulations, thank you so much. But I'm not sure. I might put in chapters concerning the games and everything, and when we do the levels from those games, which I probably should put chapters in my YouTube channel anyway. But I definitely might do it for this if I remember to do it, which I might make like a note to myself, put chapters in. I will definitely do that. But the final level, Super Bonus Round, and again the bonus level similar to Dragon Shores and Nork's Loot. Although I think this time Super Bonus Round is probably the most disappointing out of the three. It's kind of just eh. There are a lot of gems to collect once again, but otherwise it's not really that great. Like some of the mini games they had, such as like the skateboard race and like the submarines, it's like, why those mini games? You couldn't pick better mini games to repeat this time around. But and then there's the final fight against the sorceress, which is super disappointing because you're just in the UFO the whole time. And so for that Super Bonus Round, I gotta put in. I don't necessarily want to put it head back through the portal. I don't think it's that bad, but you could tell it was kind of rushed, especially with a name like Super Bonus Round. It's not like some creative name like Nork's Loot or Dragon Shores. It's just Super Bonus Round this time around. So I will put it in C. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it. This was definitely a long one. If you stayed through the whole time, I appreciate you. You are awesome. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you appreciate the rankings I did here. So to recap, in Flames tier, which is our top tier, we have Nork's Loot, Summer Forest, and Riptos Arena. In A tier, we have Dark Hollow, Ice Cavern, Lofty Castle, Nork Cove, Twilight Harbor, Autumn Plains, Glimmer, Colossus, Hurricos, Aquaria Tower, Skelos Badlands, Metropolis, Ocean Speedway, Canyon Speedway, Crush's Dungeon, Sunrise Spring, Evening Lake, Midnight Mountain, Sunny Villa, Cloudspire, Seashell Shore, Enchanted Towers, Fireworks Factory, Frozen Altars, Desert Ruins, Honey Speedway, and Scorch's Pit. In Beach, you have Artisans, Peacekeepers, Magicrafters, Beastmakers, Dreamweavers, Stone Hill, Town Square, Dry Canyon, Clifftown, Alpine Ridge, Terrace Village, Haunted Tower. There's Dark Passage, Sunny Flight, Night Flight, Toasty, Dr. Shem, Metalhead, Jacques, Winter Tundra, Idle Springs, Sunny Beach, Crystal Glacier, Breeze Harbor, Zephyr, Magma Cone, Scorch, Shady Oasis, Mystic Marsh, Cloud Temples, Robotica Farms, Metro Speedway, Icy Speedway, Gulps Overlook, Dragon Shores, Midday Garden, Molten Crater, Bamboo Terrace, Spooky Swamp, Icy Peak, Charmed Ridge, Lost Fleet, Crystal Islands, Sheila's Out, Sergeant Bird's Base, Bentley's Outpost, Agent Nine's Lab, Mushroom Speedway, Country Speedway, Harbor Speedway, Buzz's Dungeon, Spice Arena, Crawdad Farm, Starfish Reef, and a partridge in a pear tree. Yeah, I told you the B tier was going to be pretty full. And then C tier, we have Newark Nexus, High Caves, Wizard Peak, Misty Bog, Crystal Flight, Icy Flight, Blowhard, Fracture Hills, Sorcerer's Lair, Spider Town, Bug Bug Factory, and Super Bonus Round. And then head back through the portal. Well, head back through the portal on these ones. Don't play these ones. It's Treetops, Wild Flight, Nasty Nork, Haunted Tomb, and Dino Mines. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this pretty lengthy tier list. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll remember to hopefully put the chapters in so you guys don't have to watch the whole thing if there's a certain game or a certain level you're looking for, or you can have the chapters. But otherwise, if you did enjoy the video, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see it as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your favorite and least favorite Spyro levels, and I will see you guys later. Peace.